Okay, hello everybody. We're back again. It's about 9:43 Eastern Standard Time. We had the 8:30 open here. Price rejected from the 8:30 open for at least 5 points. Asian low is actually in this region as well. I'll mark that off. Asian low is 6507.5. Where is it? So the current relevant areas, as you can see on the left-hand side of this chart, are 8:30 open, Asian low. Um, Again, above 8:30 open, we have midnight open. That's approximately at 6:515. So 6:515 is um, midnight open. So I'm gonna label that. I'm testing out the drawing tools here. I'm not really used to them, so it's my first time. Let's see, arrow. Let's try arrow line for or let's try array for 6:15. This is midnight. Can I label it? I don't know if I can label it. Let me try. Don't think I can. I'm gonna have to watch a video and study how to do that as well. Let me just um get it labeled. So we got 8:30 open, midnight open, Asian low marked up. On this chart over here, we just have 8:30 open. I'm gonna mark midnight open as well over here. And this is just important to get the levels. I'm gonna go over the fib for the day as well. Just oh, sorry, that was an accidental entry or limit order that I placed. I just erased that. See this. This is midnight. So we got midnight open, 8:30 open, and then this was previous day high, London low from London high from yesterday. But we also have Asian low right in between that region, basically. So I'm gonna just, for now, I think I'll erase this because we have other things that we can label that are close to that region anyway. So 6705, 675, 65075. That right there is Asian low. And all these levels are coming from an indicator that I have set up. I don't know why it's not showing Asian low. I don't know if it's an error or not. I'm not sure. But that area is Asian low. Just put a text on it. All right, so that's how we have these charts marked up currently. Other relevant levels. If we put a see what's happening now is let me show a different window. Hold on one sec. Okay. Just gonna zoom in just to show. So I'm gonna erase everything off of this. Okay. So currently, levels that we've interacted with, we hit 830. Shortly after 830, that is around 835, 845, sold off. As well, we created this macro level, high, macro midpoint, macro low. And then essentially there's an inverse gap here where someone could have bought or used that as a reason to buy up, right? But for right now, we're just being patient. We're gonna wait to see if there's any reactions. Let's see if there's any news. There's no news coming up, so we've just got to be patient to see what happens. What I would like to see is a run up above these levels to then sell back down. The reason being, this is previous day's high. It's very close to 8:30 open. It's very close to midnight. It's very close to everything. So what I would want to see, and there's even fair value gaps here to support that. Even if we measure just this push down, the entire London push down, the 50% region is a likely area to target from that push to have a reversal, and it's above previous day's high. So I will mark that level off with an alert. So you may hear that alert going off. I'm not going to mark that on my other charts, but that will be possibly where I begin to enter. So the reason for the potential entry is going to be we're going to be in a premium above previous day's high, and we're going to hit that 50% level of the London range. So that's going to give me a good indication that there's going to be sellers coming in to push price down. The reason I wouldn't want to sell prematurely at 8:30 is because we've already sold off 8:30. So I'm anticipating a break above 8:30 and potentially also a break above midnight open. As you can see, we've already sold off midnight open many times. What we haven't done many times is sell above previous day's high. We did come above it one time in London. I want to see if we can have a failure swing again to then take out these equal lows down here, or potentially just some minor equal lows in this region. So what we're going to be focused on is waiting until price actually ranges back up above the previous day's high. Now, this may not happen, and we may look for different trades, but for right now, that's the best levels we have, right? And then aside from that level, if we're looking like on a higher time frame perspective, just to make sure that we have the higher time frame fib into consideration, right? So I'm on the 15 minute. Let's go on the 1 hour. On the 1 hour, if we're measuring the previous day high to low, so we're above the 50% level. We're above the 50% level right here. We're above that. So we're in a premium. So we should be looking for shorts above the 50% level. As you can see, shorts took place, right? But again, I'm looking to sell in the premium of the premium, which is, and there's also a previous day high level, and it's above Asian high. So there's multiple reasons why I'm expecting it to pull back up to that level and then sell off. Um, Now, to be a buyer in this market, personally, I wouldn't really like that idea at this time because the stop loss placement wouldn't be ideal. Even if you use Asian low as the range, it does get a bit mucky because the stop would have to be at the low, so it'd be at least 5 points. So I don't really like that as an entry. So I'm not looking for buys at this point. I would much prefer a previous day high sell at the 50% range, which even a 5 point stop would put us to where we have a higher risk reward for the potential profit versus the risk in a sense. So this is more of what I'm looking for. Now it may not occur. I'm waiting for 10 o'clock for to get more signs. Give me one moment. I'll be right back. So some potential buy entries that I may consider may come from this macro. If we can sweep this macro low, I may buy that macro up. That would be a B trade, potentially. But we're going to be patient and just see what's going on. Um, Typically, we would draw back to 8:30 at midnight open. So when 10 comes, I think we're going to seek a new form of liquidity down here. Then buys below that region may be a good idea. So I'm going to shift back over to the other screen. Just sorry, let me just fix this one sec. Hello. Yes. So just to confirm, we're waiting for a premium to be price to be presented in a premium to sell above previous day's high. That already occurred in London. It may happen again. If not, we may miss out on that sell. Potentially there may be a buy below this low as 10:30 is approaching, so we're going to probably sweep liquidity and then reach back to these equal highs here. So potentially we may come back and take these equal highs. So a potential trade also can be buying below these lows, targeting these equal highs for 11 to 10 points, but I'm looking for 5 on majority of my accounts, so this should be easy. I want to see how we react when we sweep the lows, and if we can get a nice turtle soup and then a slight confirmation, we will be entering that trade. I'll try one range. Uh, okay, so I made some adjustments. I erased everything so we can see clearly. So the reason I'm gonna be looking to buy lower is gonna be basically that's closer to the previous day's low, or excuse me, previous day's London low, previous day's 8:30 open. And again, if I'm buying down here, that should be exactly 50% or close to 50% of the range. So I may buy even lower at that 50% of the range region. That way I'm buying in an actual discount, relatively speaking. And then if I'm selling, I'm going to be selling at the premium of the premium. So today's buys wouldn't be the best buys because it's not under previous day's low. But again, this is something that is reactionary based on the time and the potential to sweep previous day's high level again. Now you could take a sell from this Asian low level, targeting these lows with a stop above those equal highs right here, right? So that would be an actual trade you could take because that is an A plus level, Asian low, but it's not one of my more favorable levels, so I will be leaving that trade alone, and I will be looking for this previous day low, previous day 830 open buy at the 50% of the entire daily range under a macro. I'll be looking for that buy for then to potentially take to that previous day's high and then look for a sell. Now we are reacting off of that Asian low, but again, that is not my preferable A plus setup. It could be your A plus setup, but it's not my preferred. I prefer something with 830, midnight open, even London low, London high. So we're currently just waiting. And maybe that Asian low trade does get invalidated. That 5 point stop is right there. But again, that's not something I would have taken. I'm still hoping or assuming that we're going to be going lower. So we may get the sells before we get the buys, and that's okay too. I'm not partial to any specific direction at this point in time, except that the sells would be in a premium of a premium, so the probability would be much higher. So that would actually make me prefer to take those sells at that higher level. I'm gonna erase this off the chart just so we don't, think that that was a trade I was taking. But I was saying how that could be a trade based on the level, and then as I take the trade off, it looks, or as I take the mark off, it looks like it's gonna play out. So we just got to be patient and see. Again, waiting for 10 o'clock, or it's 10:01 right now, so it's 10 o'clock currently. So that is the opening. Um, I'm expecting it to sweep both forms, both sides of liquidity. So sweep, come down to this higher time frame level for a quick wick in. I think I will be putting a limit order here, depending on how fast we approach, or I will just enter market as well. 649825 could be the limit. 649825.
Order submitted.
Okay, so I adjusted the limit there on this screen. And this is based on, again, the 50% level being interacted with. So I put the limits in. So once the limits get activated, well, I'll just put the stop loss from now on this one. Right, and then TP, we would just target these equal highs up here for about 3R. And then the 5 points from this level would be 3.325. So this is going to be the 5 point target. Again, I'm expecting for price to go down, to go up, or to go up, to go down. Either way, still looking for the same thing. Just plotting the limit orders on there so I have some order. Um, I'm aware of what my plans are. See if we get filled. We may not get filled. This is very specific. Although we do have a B buy off of the macro, you could argue that this is a B buy. Sorry, let me fix this. Could argue that this is a B buy off of the macro level here, but I'm not looking for a B buy anymore. I want to wait for an A, and A would be down here. Hitting 50% would actually be where the limit order is. So I'm actually willing to not even participate if it doesn't hit that 50% level. And then that 50% level, 5 points down. Hopefully, well, not just hopefully, but I predict that if it hits the 50% level, it must at least retrace 5 points before it goes any further down. But just patiently waiting. Now, if you took a trade from this black line, that would be London low. That would be an A plus setup to sell off, right? Didn't take that trade, but sell could have been taken from this level, this level. It just depends. We're level based traders, so you just have to think about the level, the potential levels. Text. So this level that we're going to be buying off of, let me copy that text so I could just put it over here too. This is previous day 8:30 midnight open plus 50% of daily range, or previous day 8:30, yeah, midnight open. Yep, let's press previous day's range. So look, it's not labeled here. I'm gonna put that here. So let's see if we'll get down there, and then we'll be able to become a buyer in a discount. And then from that standpoint, we can become a seller when we get to the premium of the premium if we missed any of these current existing sales. Now, if we're wrong, it's a 5 point loss and we just move on. And if we're right, we potentially would look for sales at that high. So we just wait. Price is heavily interacting with that Asian low area. Could be a potential sell from that level to the level that we're targeting. That would be about 8 points. Gonna leave that alone though, because I'm preparing to catch the buy at a better spot and the sell at a better spot. So I'm not interested in the sell in this middle of the region. Although it technically isn't a premium, but I'm not interested in it relative to the daily range. But since we have previous days high so close, I don't trust any sells. Now, if I had just followed the initial B trade that I had said, as far as taking the buys at macro low, could have been 5 points already. But again, not taking that because I'm expecting us to touch that 50% level, interact with previous days London low slash previous days 8:30 open slash midnight open. So didn't take that buy, but it's fine. I'm gonna wait and see what we get. So the B macro buy turtle suit would have paid, but now we're shooting up. So let's get prepared to possibly sell at 65725. So I'm gonna put a limit there. 65725. 651725. Sorry. 657. Move it down. So I would have to delete this order to potentially get that other order. So we're just gonna wait. I put the limit order on this account. So if it does hit here, we will be entered in the trade. We're gonna put the stop. The TP would be targeting those equal lows. So we'll see if that. Hitting midnight open, but again, I'm not interested in that because we're looking at higher levels for previous day's high, and then at the 50% of the London range to actually take the sells. That's where we're looking to take the sells. Now, if it gets triggered in on my broker on my right, I will just hit market sell on the broker on the left. Immediate reaction off of midnight open. But again, we weren't looking for that, even though that could work as an A plus setup. I like to be patient, especially with levels that are lined up close to each other. So waiting for that previous day's high to be breached, as well as that 50% of the London range. That way I'll be in a premium of relative to London. I'll be definitely in a premium relative to New York. I'll be in a premium because I'm above midnight open and 8:30, and especially because I'm above previous day's high. So that's why we're going to be patient. Doesn't mean this trade can't give 5 points immediately off of midnight open. We simply are just not taking that. be right back. Most of the days the market does just ping pong. So trading between the levels, you can make money. Just being patient and waiting is key. We're getting close to the limit order. Let's see if we get filled. 649825 is the limit. I'm anticipating getting filled. Possible retest of the level. Then directly back to the midnight open. Previous day's highs range. And then from there, we'll be looking for sells off of the 0.5 of the London range. That's the game plan. Yeah, I honestly think that the buys are good because there's plenty of liquidity at the highs that needs to be taken. I do believe we're bullish, so that's why I'm plotting for these buys, and then the sells will also potentially just be short-term retracement up here. I do think they will be relevant, but the buys are what I'm more confident about just based on the levels and then drawing back to levels. So yes, basically using yesterday's levels plus the daily range to get back to 8:30 midnight open, previous day's high. That's three significant levels, and then potentially selling above them. A sell at midnight would have already been good enough. 8:30, but would have been good enough. But I'm waiting for to. I'm basically testing out and just waiting to use these higher time frame levels only. I want to see if the results from that are going to be really good. So let's see what happens. We should be tagged into the trade hopefully within the next few minutes. So it could be viewed as accumulating, manipulating, distributing down, and then now potentially with this entry, I'm hoping that we accumulate, manipulate up, and then distribute down again. We're waiting for that entry to be triggered in patiently. See if we'll get triggered.
Order
Okay,
filled.
so we're triggered in. See if this trade works. All right, we're already going into profit. Let's manage the risk. Let's just manage the risk. Just adjust this so we can see where the stop is on both trades. I'll zoom in here so we can just see. Um, It's a little bit harder to work ninja trade. You got to hold control to shift the screen properly. But that's the basics of the trade. Once we get close to this level, I'll probably move the target higher because I do believe that we're going to run back to all of these highs. Now, I could be wrong, but that's what a 5 point stop is for. So we're going to see. Down 1 point. See if we can get a push back up above. Again, this is off of the previous day's 50% range, so I'm expecting at least a pop up because that's buying at a discount. See if we'll get a pop up. It's not looking good currently. Major lesson here may have been just take the midnight open trade when it comes, 8:30 open trade when it comes. Halfway to stop, so we have to just be patient and see. This is a level that I was interested in, the 50% level. Previous day low, previous day 8:30 and midnight open. So see if we get stopped here.
Stop
Okay,
failed.
we've been stopped. So that's for a loss. We're gonna stop right there. Okay, unfortunately it stopped us and reversed, but we just got to be patient, wait for the next setup. So I do have a bit of regret for not taking that midnight open um sell, but that's my fault. Paying a little bit too much attention to the 50% levels. So we're just gonna have to just accept it. See if we can get a reversal at the lows for potential entry. But again, what levels would be using? It'd have to be this B level here. Midnight open London low, previous midnight open London low from days before that. But I think I'll just sit this one out. Now we've swept um few levels from yesterday, but swept the PM levels from yesterday. But again, my prediction was wrong. Sometimes that does happen. That's okay. What I should have did was probably lean more into the midnight open at 8:30 usage. I was more interested in targeting it, which can sometimes result in a C trade. I thought I was using a higher time frame level to say that we would reverse there, but definitely just gotta double check sometimes and confirm. But nonetheless, just a lesson. Use the levels. Don't get too comfortable using previous day's levels. That could be the lesson there as well. May want to buy this with a stop.
Order
So we're going
filled.
to be buying this with a stop, and we're going to use that as a potential reversal back to the highs. Let's see. The 5 point stop, of course. Let's see if we can get at least 50% back of the sell side range, which would put us at about 650225. That would be right here. That's the first target. See if we can get those initial 5 points back, and then we will just probably close that and look for another trade. Let's see. Get those initial 5 points back. Uh, it's obviously a sell day. I'm in buys. It doesn't make any sense anymore. Just close this. Let's see if we have any hope for this to work out. After this, probably be done for the day. 2 shots, put it up. Review. trying to see if we can get at least 50% of this range. I'm gonna move the stops to break even at this point, because if we come back to this stop, this doesn't make any sense. That's the trade for now. Let's see if we can hold this. Okay, we're back to the level we initially wanted to buy at. Let's see it take this level convincingly. I'm gonna move the stop up just a bit, so that way if it retraces, um, more than just make a slight profit. We may have missed our opportunity to get out for 5, um, if this reverses heavily, but it is what it is.
Stop
Oop,
filled.
unfortunately got stopped there. Yeah, I got stopped there. So I mitigated half the drawdown. Could have mitigated the full thing, but um, the entry got stopped. We're retesting. Maybe I over cramped it. Probably put one more buy in if it slides down a little bit. Let's see if we're gonna stick to just being done. What got us that time was not trying to accept the full 5, so took a little bit less than half of it. That's okay. Mitigated a good amount of drawdown, so we just wait for the next setup, see if there's a good setup based on levels, interaction. So right now we're below all the levels. See if we have a slight pullback. If I had left the stop just break even, we'd have been okay, but choked it. I'm gonna mark it in here.
Order filled.
I'll mark it in here. Let's see if we can withstand any pullbacks. Let's see. Kind of got stuck to the bias in a sense. See if we get the 50% of the range. That could be. Oh, I was chasing by buying market there. Now it's coming back to the stop. This is the one chance. Crash. This was impatient. This was an impatient buy. Buying market there was very fear of missing out, revenge because of choking the trade too much. So don't really like that, if I'm being honest. Taking the not taking the midnight open 8:30 trades, I regret that today. Even within this little buy range, buying it at the highs of the buy doesn't even make sense. So unfortunately, I showed what not to do in that last trade just now, but stop hasn't gotten hit, so we're holding it still just to see if we're going to expand higher. I may close that once it just goes above into some profit. We'll see if we can get it to return to the buy side. May do a limit or a buy
Order
stop
submitted.
here, just so that once we get to that limit, we can get an additional profit. Let's see. Now, unfortunately, I did have a really good entry and I choked it. So in the future, just got to work on holding better. Let's see if this continues to push higher, just to at least hit that 50% region and to recover the drawdown completely.
Order filled.
I want to see us get to that 50% region of that the push down, and that'll take me out in most of these accounts. Did have the perfect entry, but I choked it, and now this entry is not perfect, so it's a little bit harder to hold. So I will just be taking the profit. Let's see. If we can get it. It's struggling. I'm gonna close it.
Order filled.
Um, Sorry, it was just struggling too much. That was kind of annoying. So mitigated most of the drawdown. Um, Gotta take a second come back because I didn't really like those setups that I just took. There it goes, going higher. So I would have mitigated all the drawdown, whatever. Obviously. So obviously just took that too early. Basically break even on the day. So nothing to cry about, nothing to complain about. There's still opportunity. Just need to take a quick break, come back. Did mitigate most of the drawdown though, so that is good. That is better than not mitigating the drawdown, I assume. So what we do is we just wait now for another setup, and just take a break, double check everything. I basically mitigated all the drawdowns. We'll come back. So we lost on the first buy. Second buy was a winner, but we got stopped out on it. Then we tried to re-enter on the third buy, went into deep drawdown, recovered, but it should have all been recovered already, but I'm just overdoing it. Yep. So just walk away for a bit and we'll come back. I think what I may do is I may buy on the retest of this previous day low, previous day 830 open level. Yeah, I think I'm gonna buy that.
Order
So I bought
filled.
that because that essentially is an original trade I took. But now that we have the price action below it, it gives the stop loss a better chance, I believe. So let's see if that trade works out. Oh, that's not looking good right now. Let's see if we use the gap to go up or to go down. Let's target midnight open, and then we'll take profits earlier if it forces us to. But I don't know why we wouldn't sweep midnight open, as seeing as how we swept the lows, should sweep the highs, not targeting anything extremely far other than just the equal highs. So worst case, we'll just trail it. Let's see. I think I'm on the right side of the V now. Before I was on the left side, so it's like trying to stop a train. Now the train's kind of stopped and it's kind of reversing the other way. This would be a safer entry as far as the stop placements. So let's see if it'll allow us to actually get the profit from this trade. I think the logic for this trade makes sense. It's the same buy I was trying to take before, but now we have better stop placement because we've set in some lows. Hopefully those are the last lows we set in. Hopefully we can, exponentially, okay, big gap up. Let's see if we can get a higher gap up to take those 830 midnight open levels. That's what we'd be looking for essentially to give us, you know, to fulfill a target. So The way that candle opened was very deceptive. Thought it was just going to be a full big green candle, but maybe that's a precursor, or just running liquidity to sell off. But we're holding it. We're going to find out. Now, essentially, we're trading from previous day's low, previous day's 8:30, up to today's previous day 8:30, today's previous day midnight open. Um, it may not work, but I have a feeling that the levels are gonna, draw back to each other. Um, Additionally, buying in a discount or relative discount to the entire range is, I think that it's more beneficial. So we're gonna see shortly if this is just gonna reject off of for sells or if it's going to actually reverse for buys. Want to see us take those equal highs we just set in. That would be great. If this fails, this would be the second failed trade off of a previous day's 8:30 or midnight open. In that case, I'm gonna take a note to not take those anymore. But I feel like this one is a little bit better, just based on where the stop would be based on price action. The other one was a little bit in the middle of nowhere, so let's see if this one at least hold or not. What's NQ doing? Let me take a look at NQ. Okay, NQ seems to be making a higher low potentially, so hopefully both NQ and ES are making higher lows. Let's see. Now we're under the level I wanted to use as support, so I don't like that at all. It's actually kind of alarming. So let's see if we will shoot up. Today's blender is brought to you by me just not using the initial levels to just take a trade, me trying to actually do a little bit too much in terms of prediction like Nostradamus instead of just focusing on reacting off of levels. So that's why we're in a pickle at this moment where we're sitting in a trade that um, it's a good trade in terms of the level, but it's not the A plus level from today. It's an older level. So sometimes trading those older levels can get tricky. See if we have any bullish push up. Can we just recover? Sad part is targeting the 0.5 level worked effortlessly. If I just left it, it would have been cool, but took it off prematurely. Then I FOMO'd. So now we're just sitting in this waiting. It's not looking good, I'm gonna be honest. See if that reverses it. Uh, yeah, it looks like it's gonna take us out. See if it goes up from here. Come on.
Stop
Oh, it
filled.
stopped, so we're just gonna close this up. Like an idiot. Alright, so we'll come back later. Because now you're just taking trades and it doesn't even make sense. We'll just stop this stream. But it was a good try. Should have walked away when I recovered majority of it. Again, the levels I used weren't the best today. Um, is this still closed? Doesn't make any. I mean, yeah, the levels I used weren't optimal, so that makes sense. Targeted the 50. When that worked, I was already not treating it correctly. So I need to just take a break from this, come back.